Okay, so in all of my years of living on this space rock, I have only ever seen one good football team that the Raiders have fielded, and that team was the 2016 Raiders. A team that I have a love-hate relationship with. I mean, this was still by far the most fun I've ever had as a Raiders fan, don't get me wrong, but 2016 was not an ideal time to be a Bay Area sports fan, so I don't know what else to say. You clicked on this video, you know what you're about to get. Just let a Raiders fan laugh, smile, and cry about the 2016 Raiders for about 20 minutes. So without further ado, let's get into it. So during this time in my life, I was a wee lad in about 6th grade, and for some reason, I loved going to every single Raiders home game. I mean, for the last few years, I've been absolutely tortured at this point, being forced to watch our tank commanders, Clive Wolford and TJ Carey, lead us into battle, only for us to completely fumble every draft pick that landed in our greasy pockets. But experts, including myself, actually thought the Raiders were building something. Despite only going 7-9 in 2015 and being the worst team in football in the fourth quarter, we had a good offseason. Since we were actually trying to make a bit of a run, we signed Reggie Nelson, a Pro Bowl safety from Cincinnati, Sean Smith, a Pro Bowl corner from Kansas City, Kelechi Osemele, a cobblestone wall at guard, and Bruce Irvin, an edge rusher with Super Bowl DNA. And although Charles Woodson called it a career, this Raiders team scarily did not really have any holes. Khalil Mack and Derek Carr were draft buddies from the 2014 class, and they were clearly the two best players in the team. And just the thought of them even taking another step forward in their development was a lot to take in. But still, I mean, come on now. I'm a Raiders fan, so the hype can't really exist, right? I mean, yes, deep down I wanted to give in and be like, yup, ain't nobody with us. The Raiders are going to the Super Bowl. But like, yes, I was like 12, but I was smart enough to not have hope. But man, this team was different. And just looking back at the schedule, the amount of core football memories this team gave me in this season alone is why this team will always be so special to me. And that started all the way back in just week 1, when the tone for the season was set. September 11th, 2016. Week 1. The Oakland Raiders go on the road to face the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees. Now, the Saints had been one of the most high-powered offenses pretty much ever for the last couple of seasons, and Drew Brees didn't look like he was going to be slowing down anytime soon. So, you know, on the road, I wasn't really expecting anything much, maybe a 10-point loss, but honestly, I was just hoping for a competitive game. But man, I mean, this game turned out to be one of my favorite Raider games that I've ever watched. One of those games where you remember exactly where you were, who you were watching it with, and this game just built character. And the Raiders were back, baby. Let's go! Look at that, man. Look at that jump. It's probably hard for some of y'all to comprehend what you just saw, but yep, that's Derek Carr. DC made that play. And I feel like from there, after that play, the offense was like, okay, yeah, this is a guy that we can ride for. But in the Big Easy, the Raiders were going to need more than just spirit to show that they could compete with a prime Drew Brees. The offense did have firepower, with Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper being a top 5 receiver duo all season. The L train was still going strong, and of all people, a little-known rookie by the name of Jalen Richard kept us in this game with this run, and I just lost my mind when it happened. Oh my god, we might do it. Drew Brees has 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and this ragtag squad was right there. It was supposed to take weeks to build up chemistry, but with the help of a penalty, we had 6 minutes to go down the field and score to tie it. And Carr just made plays. 4th down and 5. Carr drops back, and another penalty. Let's go. We got another chance. All right, now we got it, okay? Seth Roberts, my savior, my GOAT for the touchdown. Dude, Seth Roberts was pretty much like the OG Hunter Renfrow, for those of you who don't know who he is. You don't need to, trust me. But he was also somehow like the most reliable and least reliable player I've ever watched. But this was it. Down 33-34 with seconds left. We made the call that decided basically how we were going to treat the season. What type of team were we going to be? Were we going to be, you know, a little bitch and kick the PAT, or go for 2? And we went for it. And the legend of the 2016 Raiders was born. I was elated, running around my room screaming. I was like, wait a minute. am I watching a good football team? Is that even, like, allowed in the 10 Commandments? It was absurd. And we ended up holding on to win. I just watched a full football game involving a good team, and I had fun. I was so confused, but fuck it. Next week was gonna be another huge test, so I needed to calm down, because we were back in Oaktown, in the Coliseum, facing the Atlanta Falcons. And with Kyle Shanahan, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and more, this offense would become the best offense in the entire league with the MVP and Matt Ryan. But I mean, how would they do on the old baseball field, huh? That's the real test. Well, sadly, it ended up going pretty well for them. But the thing with this game was the Falcons looked great, and we should have won. Our special teams was popping off this game. Marquette King and Sebastian Janikowski was truly a beautiful combo. And on defense, we held Atlanta to just 3 points for almost the whole first half. And we could have taken a larger lead too, but for some reason, the whole game plan revolved around f***ing Clive Wolford. But we battled, man. The game was tied in the fourth quarter, and we kept scoring points. We clearly belonged with this team that would go on to make the Super Bowl, and the game-changing play would happen when a tipped ball was caught in the end zone. So, like, okay, yeah, we lost, but the penalties didn't go our way as usual, and we got decently unlucky. So, whatever. We bounced back the next week versus the Titans, despite Carr playing a pretty poor game, but we couldn't keep pulling off close wins like this versus the Saints if we want to be an elite team, right? Well, we kind of just kept it going. I don't know how, but the wins kept coming in. Week 4. Here we are again. Another massive matchup on the road this time versus the undefeated Ravens, and we showed up again, bro. Once again, I can't emphasize enough how not normal this was. We always fold early in the season when we have expectations. Every single goddamn time. But we were straight up piling it on the Flacco. Up 14-3 almost before the half, and after Crabtree's second touchdown, we looked like legitimately a much better team than Baltimore on the road. Still. But unfortunately though, we are the Raiders still. But now here we are again. Derek Carr with another chance to lead a comeback. It was Carr, Cooper, and Crabtree versus the world for yet another week. And facing an elite defense in Baltimore, our odds weren't looking good, but damn it, man, this is why football is football. And again, Derek Carr and Crabtree showed up huge. 3 tutties for Crabtree, man, and he toasted his man. Once again, little TubFrog is at home sprinting around the house, and we won again. Holy f***, we're actually so back. We're hitting hard with Reggie Nelson and rookie Carl Joseph. We got bullies in Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin. Carr's looking like a top 5 quarterback, and it might happen. I might see a playoff team. We handily beat the Chargers in week 5, and all of a sudden we were actually getting some hype. And since, you know, we're the Raiders and usually don't exist to the rest of the NFL as anything other than a punching bag, people actually were saying, hey, that'd be pretty cool if the Raiders were actually good. But at the same time, I mean, we weren't like a real threat so far. We have been allowing the most yards in the entire league at this point, and allowing damn near 30 points a game. How much longer could we keep winning off of miracles? It turns out, still a little bit longer. After a fluky game versus the Chiefs, where Hall of Famer Spencer Ware ran for 130 on us, we beat down the Jaguars with Marquette King's 4th and 24 conversion, and we beat a bad team. We actually beat a bad team. That never happens for us. And then we played another road game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Jameis Winston. And let me tell you about a football game, all right? This team was just so fun, but my blood pressure did not always appreciate the ride it took to get there. This Bucs team was not good, but early on, it looked like finally things were coming back down to earth for us. We were getting buried by penalties, and we're down 10-0, but then James Olawale had other plans. It only led to a field goal, but we kept battling slowly, staying in the game, and Donald Penn even got a touchdown too. The goated Madden tight end, I guess, got the score, and we were still in it. Khalil Mack was pretty much outplaying Tampa's offense alone, but we just couldn't overcome the penalties. We had 23 penalties in this game, the most ever in a game since 2010, and we were winning. I mean, it was wild. Literally, there was a penalty on every single play for us. This was one of the longest games I've ever watched, and it was the same situation in the end as the Saints game. We needed to go down the field on the road and get exactly a touchdown. And that's what DC did. That's what he did all year. He was absolutely dialed in. Amari Cooper mossed a dude. And then on 4th down with the game on the line, hearts racing, on the edge of my seat, we scored. And instead decided to play it a little conservative and send it to overtime. The aggression wasn't needed here because, I mean, we were playing against ourselves basically at this point and had a chance to win it in regulation, but Amari Cooper dropped an easy pass. Janikowski missed a kick, but this was all completely planned by the football gods. Penalties continued to just absolutely destroy us. We missed another kick, and now we had to go get a field goal to win it. And Carr remained unstoppable on this day, but flags set up a 4th down, and Seth Roberts called game. I was losing it. I was absolutely losing it. We were undefeated on the road, and we were pretty much the most fun team in the NFL. People started loving us. We were underdogs. We were dark horse contenders. Now giving the Patriots a scare. I mean, this seemed like a team that could beat the '85 Bears, and also, at the same time, probably lose to the Browns. We were elite. We were dangerous. We were Super Bowl contenders. Khalil Mack skyrocketed in the Defensive Player of the Year award race, and Derek Carr the same for the MVP. And we just kept going. 1 week later versus the defending Super Bowl champion Broncos, our division rival, we blew them out. Our home field advantage was insane. Like, I'm serious. I was at this game, and Trevor Siemian looked terrified out there. And I don't know how else to say it, man, but we just had aura. We had weapons everywhere. And after beating another playoff team in Houston, it was time for another heavyweight matchup in O.co, as the Carolina Panthers and the reigning MVP in Cam Newton would come to town. Once again, at this point, we were a top 5 team in the league. We were 8-2, had the leading MVP candidate damn near, and the leading Defensive Player of the Year candidate. This team was absolutely magical, and the legend of the 2016 Raiders was not going to stop there. Versus the Panthers, we just put on a show, obliterating Cam in the first half, capped off by another core memory for me, with Khalil Mack getting a pick 6. But of course, nothing's easy. The Panthers came roaring back, but Khalil Mack, man, I miss him so much. He saved our ass like 50 times this season, and the pressure got to Cam, and we were now 9-2. So it wasn't even December, and this was already the most wins I've ever seen in a season in my life. I was in. I bought into the hype. We were right behind Dallas, ranked as the best team in the league, overtaking New England in the eyes of most. Derek Carr was not only looking like the MVP, but he was the best clutch quarterback in the league. Behind a top 5 offensive line with Rodney Hudson and Kelechi Osemele, our offense could erupt for 30 on any given game. But again, we began to slip a little bit. We needed to hold on to end the season to take the 2 seed because Kansas City was right there, but they beat us again in Arrowhead as Derek Carr's nightmare versus Kansas City just kind of never went away. Seriously, for quarterbacks, there is no player right now with a worse winning percentage versus any team than Carr versus the Chiefs. But that's a story for another time, because we're here to celebrate, okay? I'm so happy. I'm here to be happy, and happy I was back then, because 1 week later, the Raiders faced off against the San Diego Chargers and had a chance to clinch the playoffs. That word, it was just so foreign to me. And so I took a pilgrimage to the gorgeous city of San Diego and got to experience the San Diego Chargers in their last year of existence, hoping that we could pull out a win and I could watch my team make the playoffs for the first and, you know what, damn near probably the last time of my life. It wasn't looking good though. I mean, for some reason, Travis Benjamin literally just torched us every single time we played him, so we fell behind early, but we were the better team. That was such a strange feeling that I remember actually having in the moment, knowing that we were better, that we should be able to pull it off. I mean, hell, this was basically a home game too for us. There were significantly more Raiders fans at that game than Chargers fans, and I remember being surprised to even see a Chargers fan sitting in front of me. However, those Charger fans were about to leave that stadium happy, or at least it was looking like that was going to happen. We couldn't get anything going, but Crabtree made a huge play before the half and scored. But of course, it had to happen again. This team was great, but they just could never win easy. Tie game, 16 all with minutes remaining in the fourth, and then on 3rd and 8, it happened. Derek Carr scrambled, pumped his fist, and I felt it. I felt like that was the play that was going to do it. Sebastian Janikowski knocked down the kick, Bruce Irvin made a play, and Reggie Nelson got a game-ending pick, and we made the playoffs. The stadium erupted, and everything was worth it. Everyone was hugging each other, and the 13-year drought had ended. Once again, it felt amazing. I will never be able to just experience that feeling again of being like, I can't believe it. My team is actually doing something positive. It was amazing. And we were 11-3. So now all of a sudden my brain was thinking, okay, we're in the playoffs, but could I go to a playoff game? Because at this point, all we had to do was win out, and the Chiefs couldn't do anything. We would be able to host a playoff game in the divisional round, and the stadium would have been popping. It would have been amazing. And even just for a brief moment, with just all the magical stuff that had been happening all season, the Bucks game, the Saints game, the Panthers game, the Ravens game, I was thinking, Super Bowl? Could we win a Super Bowl? I mean, the Raiders in the Super Bowl? Doesn't that just sound like the natural order of the universe would invert on itself and like Yellowstone would erupt or something to stop that from happening? Because honestly, I think that would happen. But now I could kind of watch stress-free football. Sort of, because the two teams left on our schedule were both teams that were not going to make the postseason in Indianapolis and Denver. And on Christmas Eve, I walked into the stadium with a sense of confidence and a feeling like my team was on top of the world. And that was the problem. I let my guard down. I was young, naive, foolish. I smiled. I don't know why I did that. And what awaited for me was one of the worst nights of my life. I have had some rough nights since then. I've been hurt, trust me, but I'm dead serious. Still to this day, I've never felt my heart just sink into my socks like what happened on December 24th, 2016. We had everything. It was perfect. We had a great chance at a Super Bowl run. And remember, I was thinking about the future. We had a young potential MVP candidate at quarterback. We had the Defensive Player of the Year in Khalil Mack. He was going to be a Raider forever. We had a defense that made plays when needed. A three-headed run game, sort of, but it was all taken away on one play. Derek Carr went down with a season-ending injury in garbage time. And the words, "it broke," still just cut me to my core even right now. The game was over, man. We won. He didn't need to be out there, but he was. And the next decade of Raiders football would be changed forever. MVP Derek Carr fell down on that field that day, and he would never return. And that was it for the season. Matt McGloin finished the game because of course he did. Why the f not? And after losing our quarterback and our soul, we dropped the final game of the season to the Broncos. And instead of getting a bye in a home playoff game with our MVP quarterback, we had to go on the road in Houston to play against J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney with a rookie quarterback in Connor Cook. But I had already checked out. I'm gonna be honest, I quit. The season ended the day Carr went down. This team thrived on pure vibes. The energy was electric all year long, and everyone rallied around Carr. So when he went down, the team stopped believing. And you know, as much as you don't want to say it, they were right. Yeah, they didn't believe, but what was there to believe in anymore? Connor Cook? No, and that was it. The 2016 Raiders season, the best season of my life I've ever witnessed, ended on a cold day in Oakland versus the Colts, but was finally concluded when we fell to Brock Osweiler in the playoffs. The ultimate humiliation, and that was it. We never recovered from there. Derek Carr could barely take a snap in 2017, and he would never return to MVP form. Cooper, Mack, Crabtree, all those guys were just thrown to the side when Gruden came in a year later after that, and it was just... It was so sad, man, because I truly do believe if we stayed healthy, if we won the final two games of the season and hosted a home playoff game in the divisional round, that atmosphere was going to be legendary. And I would be shocked if we didn't at least make the AFC Championship game. And I do actually think that we would have made the Super Bowl that year. I think we had the squad to do it. But there's no point on dwelling on the past because what happened happened. The Raiders sucked for the next 9 years and counting, and yeah, that's it. But for one season, the 2016 Raiders, they were perfect, and they gave me hope. But anyways, If you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And if you did like this video, watch this video I did a few days back on the 2010s NFL recap. It's pretty good, trust me. And thanks to all my Patrons for pledging $1. Truly does mean a lot, and I have more tiers on Patreon too if you want to explore that now. But anyways, until next time.